Starting a business can be one of the most exciting things, but one of the most difficult things all at the same time. You've got this great idea and you're ready to hit the ground running, but then after thinking about it, you don't have all the money that you need. And how you solve that problem determines whether you're an entrepreneur or a wantrepreneur. So in today's video, I'm gonna teach you how to be an actual entrepreneur and raise the money to start your new business. If you're new to my channel, my name's Ryan Pineda. I'm a real estate investor here in Las Vegas. I've flipped hundreds of homes, I've bought hundreds of rentals, and I have multiple businesses doing millions a year in profit. If you wanna learn how I can help you out, go to ryanpineda.com. Now, as I just said, I own multiple businesses, and every single one I've started, I had to think about, where am I gonna get the money for this endeavor? Even today, I'm making more money than I ever have, but the stakes have just become higher. I've had to figure out how to raise more money to do bigger and crazier things. So I'm gonna give you a quick example of what raising money looks like, and then I'm gonna show you how to get investors to start saying yes. So most people who follow me want to get into real estate investing in some way. They either want to flip houses or start wholesaling. Now, it doesn't take a genius to realize that real estate requires quite a bit of money, and it's actually one of the most capital-intensive businesses that there is. And what I always tell people is that yes, you can start real estate investing today with no money. But it's kind of misleading because you do need money. It just doesn't have to be your own. You've got to figure out how to go get money from other people. Now, when it comes to flipping houses, I always tell people you can get a hard money loan. That's how I got started because I didn't know anybody with money. Or you can go get private money, which is either through a family member or a friend typically. Now, the thing I'll say is almost all of you watching this video have the ability to go raise money in one of those two ways for real estate investing. If you didn't know, there's more money being printed every day than in the history of the United States. And it's very easy to connect with people who have money because of social media. So finding the money for a good deal is not an issue like it was 10 years ago. But I want to go in depth on what it looks like to raise money for any business, not just a real estate investment deal. So let's go over this step by step. So before you ever go about raising money, the first step is to do your due diligence. So due diligence is essentially the research you are doing on your business. So the first thing that happens when you're creating a business is you get an idea. You're thinking, I'm gonna go invent this product, or I'm gonna sell this shirt, or I'm gonna do whatever that business idea is. Well, once you have that idea, you need to go research your competitors. Is anyone else making this shirt? If so, how much are they charging? How many of these shirts are they actually selling? Are they a profitable company? What's their website look like? What's their marketing strategies? Are they running Facebook ads, YouTube ads? Are they hiring influencers? How are they going about selling the product? And to give a clear example, this is a shirt from the company Cuts. And in almost all of my videos, I'm wearing one of their shirts because I really like it. And because I have a decent sized social media following, Cuts took notice and they said, hey Ryan, would you be interested in affiliating our products? Would you be interested in us paying you? Do you want any free gear? And I said, sure, I wear the shirts anyway. I might as well get paid to do it. And for them, that is one of their biggest marketing strategies for how they are getting shirts sold. They're reaching out to influencers, they're giving them affiliates, they're giving them products, but they're also doing their own marketing strategies on top of that. And so before you ever start your business, you've got to do your due diligence and research your competitors because they've already gone through all the processes for you to start building something. And if they're successful, then you don't really need to reinvent the wheel. They've kind of already laid the blueprint. And as a side note, I didn't even mean to make this in part of the video, but because I'm talking about it, if you want 15% off the Cut shirt, you can click the link below. They've also got these new joggers that are pretty dope too, so check those out. But anyways, once you've researched your competitors and you've done your due diligence, that takes you to step number 2, which is to create your business plan. Now it's funny because on my podcast, I've mentioned before that I've never created a true business plan. I've never made a formal business plan that I was trying to pitch to investors. I've done plenty of slide decks that I've made for webinars, and I've jotted down a one-page outline of how I was gonna go about creating something, but I've never gone the big fancy route that they would teach you in college. And that actually reminds me, I think the last business plan that I made that way was to pass a college class. So nonetheless, you don't need to make anything crazy and fancy to get investors. I'll tell you, people have pitched me on businesses where they want me to be an investor. They've gone through the huge presentations and the slides, and that stuff is great. I'm sure it does help close other investors. But it's never swayed me one way or the other. If I can understand the basic concept of the business and I really like the founder, I'm gonna invest in them. And that's why people have invested millions of dollars with me in all my various endeavors. I never had to create anything fancy, they just really liked my idea and they liked me. That's it. That's the simple formula for what works. So just figure out how you can create some kind of plan that you can show to your potential investors. I think a lot of people get hung up on creating this big, fancy, crazy thing, and it prevents them from actually taking action. Now, once you've done that, it's time to go to step 3 and start raising the money. Now, you've got different money options. Let's talk about a few of them. The first and the easiest way to go about it is to self-fund. This is how I've started all of my businesses. I've had to raise money after I've started the business in order to buy real estate or whatever it was, but the initial start of the business, I self-funded it through many different ways. One is obviously your own cash. If you've already got the money to start the business, then great. Probably don't need to take on anyone. But the second would be credit cards. This is how I started my house flipping business. I got a 0% credit card, maxed it out, and the rest is history. And there are many people on YouTube and other things who will tell you, no, don't do credit cards to start a business, that's too risky. I'm here to tell you, don't listen to those people. If you've done all the steps I've listed before this and you're confident about the idea, what does it matter if you're using a credit card to fund it? In the end, you're always gonna be taking on debt, whether it's a credit card, whether it's a mortgage, a private investor, you're always gonna have debt in business. Unless, of course, Dave Ramsey is running the business. But for most people, in order to scale and grow the business, you gotta take on debt some way, somehow, and one of the easiest ways to do that is with credit cards. But another way to go about it is through a HELOC or a cash out refi. If you've got a home with a lot of equity, you can borrow against that home and use it to start your business. Once again, a lot of people would say this is too risky, but once again, I don't really care what other people think. If you've done your research, you believe in your idea, you believe in your abilities, take a shot. As the saying goes, you've gotta risk it for the biscuit. And guess what? If you fail, it is what it is. Most entrepreneurs have failed, but it was through all those failures that they were able to find the idea that worked, to learn from their mistakes, and then make it big. I'm pretty certain I've never met one entrepreneur who did not fail or lose money at some point, myself included. I've lost a lot of money over the years doing dumb things that didn't work out. But let's say you're maybe not as risky as me and you want to go about other routes. Another way you could raise money to start your business is through taking on a business partner. Maybe you've got the idea, you've done all the research, and you're going to be the one putting in the work, and they're gonna be the ones bringing the money to the table. Or maybe they're gonna be doing some work alongside of you because they're really into the idea, and you both are gonna use your money together. There's a lot of ways you could structure things with a business partner, but just realize most businesses have partners in them. There are very few people that are just solo doing business by themselves, starting it by themselves and not needing any help from any partners. At this point, almost all my businesses have some kind of partnership in them. And I've realized that over time, that makes the most sense. We actually make more money by me taking on a partner, mainly because I don't want to be in the business all day. Even though I was the one that started it, I don't want to be the one running it. So having a partner from the beginning can definitely make things go a lot faster. But if you don't want to take a partner, another way you can go about it is just by simply raising money from other people. You can go to investors like myself and say, hey Ryan, I need 50,000 bucks for this idea. I've done my research, here's the business plan, I really believe in it, and I'm just needing that 50,000 to get it going. I believe in you and I believe in the idea. I'm gonna say, all right, what are you gonna give me for this 50,000 bucks? And there are really two things you can offer. The first is equity. You could say, okay, I'm gonna give you X percentage of the company for this investment. This is typically what venture capitalists do because that's what makes them the most money in the long run. But if you don't want to give up equity or the investor doesn't want equity, you can then just structure it as debt. You say, okay, for the 50,000 bucks, I'm willing to give you X percentage of return each month, or I'm gonna pay you back this amount by this date. There's no right or wrong way. It's just really dependent on who's willing to invest with you and what your track record is. For me at this point, I'm probably not giving up any equity in my companies. But if that's the only way for you to get started, then you gotta do what you gotta do to get the ball rolling. So don't be greedy about terms. The other thing I'll mention on that note is that you've gotta keep the long game in mind. If you're gonna take a partner, make sure this is somebody that you want to be in business with for the long haul. A partnership is just like a marriage. You've got to be really committed to this person if you're gonna take them on as a true partner. And the same thing applies to if you're giving up equity to an investor. Just remember, you've gotta make it worth your while too. They might be the only person who wants to fund your business, but if they're gonna go take 90% of it, it just doesn't make sense. So make sure you aren't giving up the whole farm from the get-go. But anyways, I hope this helps you raise money for your business. Hope it gave you value. If it did, do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.